Peace and blessings, fam. It's your girl Sunny P coming at you with something new. I had saw this meme on Facebook and it made me want to make this video. Normally I don't even respond to stuff. It sparked an idea, and this is something that I wanted to touch on. But the meme says, y'all replace prayer with manifest, and I don't like that. And then someone replied, and they replace God with the universe. That's what I really don't like. So minding the business that pays you is definitely the way to go in this day and time. But besides that, it brings up the question of religion versus spirituality. In my opinion, religion has, more structure, rules, and laws, and spirituality is literally exploring your spirit through whatever mediums, finding more about yourself through exploration. Spirituality doesn't have limits and restrictions like religion does. I really made this video in a sense to respond because I use all of those terms simultaneously: God and the universe, and then prayer and manifest. So in my opinion, for one, yes, God and universe is one and the same thing to me. God created the universe. In my opinion, I look at God as kind of the mental energy and the focus. And I look at the universe as the womb. So God in kind of a masculine sense, and the universe in a feminine sense. Although I do feel like God doesn't have a gender. When we talk about symbolisms or just how certain energies work or what something is more alike, I definitely feel like God and universe is one and the same thing. Like, people talk about the universe. I mean, we live in the universe. The universe is vast. It's growing. It's big. God is omnipresent, as they say. God is everywhere at once. So to me, that makes me think about mental power, the collective consciousness. Like, God is the all. God is everything. So to try to separate the God in the universe, that doesn't make sense to me. At least I don't agree with it. And then for one to say that we replaced prayer with manifest, for one, I think that's false, at least in my opinion, because you need prayer in order to manifest, at least in my experience. I believe you need prayer to manifest. Prayer is the actual intent, the focus. To pray, you have to be super present. You have to be, intentional about what you're speaking about. You have to know what you're speaking about or what you're asking for, okay? And then the manifestation comes. When people talk about, I'm trying to manifest, realistically, we're always manifesting. People look at manifesting as it's just positive, like, I just manifested $5,000, or I manifested a good relationship. You also manifested that toxic relationship. You also manifested that car accident. You also manifested other toxic things. People act like manifestation is just about attracting the good, when manifestation is about attracting in general. We're always manifesting because the universe is always responding to whatever energetic outprint we are putting out. So everything's vibrating, everything's alive. So we're always being responded to. God is the overseer. God is the creator, the most high in the sense of the highest vibration, the highest level. When people talk about source, that's what I look at God as. Or like they say, God is within us. It's the God in me. God is within all of us. So we all have the ability to tap into God, and God is there at our access at every moment. You can always tap into God to the end. You can always tap into God, into your higher self. I am God in the sense that I am a reflection of God. I am not the most high. I am not the creator, but I am the creator of my universe, okay? I create my reality, and I am part of the collective consciousness that, creates the whole reality. And then even just thinking about that is just how the collective consciousness can create a reality, and the difference of that and God, if you get what I'm saying. Like, if you get a bunch of people to believe something, it becomes true just because you have so many people living out that experience. So it makes it fact in a sense, if you get what I'm saying, because it's going to play out in the 3D. But God, the Most High, is like indescribable to me in the sense of us as humans. We try to put, and say God is this and God is that, or what God looks like. And I don't think God has a face, okay? God doesn't have a body. God is, to me, just mental energy When you think about being in meditation, okay, and the focus, and through meditation, through that focus, you can manifest on your ability to focus on one thing for an extended amount of time using that mental power. So God was able to create the universe through that focus of mental power, okay? For ones to say that, we replaced God with the universe, it's not true. I feel like we're just tapping into different awarenesses and ways of identifying different things, because at the end of the day, that's all it is. Us as humans, we have to find words and symbols and colors to understand certain things, because God is vast, the universe is vast. Like, can our minds really grasp and understand everything, like from the micro to the macro? I was raised a Christian. I got baptized when I was in like 5th grade. I went to church with my grandma, kindergarten, elementary school or whatever. I remember going to church with my mom, and then I ended up working a job where, I was working Sundays all the time. So that's when my stop going to church time ended. But even before that, I can honestly say the Christian faith never saved me. I never felt saved in the Christian faith. I found myself once I started to ask more questions about the world and look within. So although I don't feel like people need to be into crystals and tarot cards and all that stuff to find themselves, I do feel like they are tools that you can use to be able to connect with the divine and to communicate with different angels and things. Like I said, everything around us is moving, it's vibrating. So I feel like with your intention, you can connect with, manifest. You can do whatever you want with your intention, with your focus. There was a debate that some people were supposed to be having. It was, people of the Christian faith versus people that I believe were maybe of Christian faith, but they still, studied spiritual things like, crystals and sage and things of that nature. And I remember, reading the Bible, and I do believe in the Bible to an extent. There are certain people. Sorry about that noise, y'all. This heater is making crazy noises, all right? So please bear with me. Just the fact that Christians try to make spirituality seem so demonic or so far-fetched when they fail to realize it's one and the same. A common example we can use, whatever the ritual is when they drink the wine and the cracker. I remember literally doing that, and that's something that you do at a specific time, or it's always a specific day that they perform that ritual, right? It's a ritual, it's a practice, no different than a female like me that's in tune with the moon cycles, and on new moons I like to do rituals, or on full moons I like to do rituals. It's no different than waking up every day and brushing your teeth, or drinking, tea. Anything that's in a practice, anything that you do consistently or you do on a specific date and time for a thing is a ritual. The idea of trying to, separate that, it doesn't make any sense. Oh, we're demonic, or, it's unrighteous to use crystals and sage and all these other things, when these are natural elements that came from the earth. These are things that came from God, that came from the universe. So all of these things were created by God. So why is it evil? I feel like it's all about intent. The same way that you have good cops, you have bad cops. The same way you can have good intentions, you can have bad intentions. So it's all about your intention. I really don't feel like it makes you evil just because you indulge in certain things. People down talk in the way that people choose to, practice their faith. I just think it's weird that people try to tell someone else what to believe in. If that's what works for you as an individual, so be it. I'm not living your life. We all have to live our own lives. So for me to try to tell you don't believe in God, or you have to believe in God, or whatever, it's just asinine, because who am I to tell you what to believe in, And it doesn't affect me. What you believe becomes your reality. So it's just what you believe doesn't affect me and my reality. Okay, what you believe is for you. So for others to be so concerned with the belief of people outside of themselves just doesn't make sense to me. So I made this video just to kind of touch on the idea of that separation. people try to separate religion and spirituality, but it's really one and the same thing. For me, I just feel like, once again, religion has more structure or maybe books or things to follow. And just to go off that, like I said, I've studied the Bible before at times, and I've read the Bible. And I do feel like it's a factual book, but it's also facts that this book has been changed multiple times over the years. And besides that, there's so many different versions of the Bible and things like that. Like, what is the significance of that? So for people to want to abide by a book when, we don't really know exactly where the book came from, things have just been, misconstrued so much. So me personally, I didn't want to put all of my faith in that. Although it is a book with, a lot of codes and cues. The Bible has a lot of healing in it, a lot of scriptures and, things that do relate to things that are going on in this day and time. But I do know there have been a lot of things twisted to mess with, the understanding and historical facts of things, okay? So when you have people that, want to use the Bible as a, as a backup or, as a fact, I can't discredit people for what they believe in, but please don't come at me sideways because of what I choose to practice or because of what I choose to believe in. Because in my practice, yes, I do my candle magic. I study numerology and astrology. I'm big on symbolism, but I also believe in the Most High. I also pray. I study other religions and have, dibbled and dabbled in other religions in the sense where, for me, I take them for information, not in the sense of necessarily like a way to live my life, because my own inner compass tells me how to live my life. I don't really allow a book to dictate that, even though I know that religion does serve certain structure and discipline, and certain people need that. And that's what I realized, at least for me. Certain people need that structure and that discipline, and if that's what serves you to be your highest good, then so be it. Then so be it. I really feel like in this day and time, it does not serve us to be so worried about, what people believe in. Because if it doesn't directly affect you, then why worry about it, And yeah, just the idea of all this separation. And for me, like that post, it was just a little tasteless because I'm a black woman. It seems like it's always, black people tearing each other down or da-da-da, this and that, and you believe in this, so that, and okay, you think you're right and I'm wrong. Whatever. Okay, cool. I'm living my life, you live in yours, and you feel like I'm living wrong just because I don't believe in what you believe in. It's not healthy. But yeah, religion versus spirituality, there is no competition. Both of them hold space. And at the end of the day, God, I feel like, God is omnipresent. God is everywhere. You have some people that believe in God and some people that don't. People worship different gods. So it's just who are you to define what God is for someone else? Why can't God be all of those things? God is omnipresent. God has had many different experiences and expressed in many different ways over time, if you get what I'm saying. It's all just a way of understanding, a way of connection, a way for humans to use, what am I trying to say? A way, all of these different stories and stuff that we have heard is just a way that we have written down stories and things to try to understand or describe God, or just the creation in all, and just to describe nature, which is also God, the natural rhythm of God, the divine mathematics in this perfectly created, structure that we live within. Mother Earth, our bodies are 75% water, just like Mother Earth. It's all of these, what do you call them? When things correspond, all of these things that are cohesive and they fit together. I feel like it's a place for all of it. Okay, religion and spirituality, we try to separate them, but I feel like we should, merge them. Okay, we should merge them because it's still all for learning and understanding. Correct, and I do feel like we would be able to understand each other better if we, I don't want to say necessarily study each religion, but seeing the similarities in different religions. And how all of these stories correspond, or where they fit in, or this information came from here and a little bit of this was switched there. It's happened over time. So the knowledge of things have been hidden from us. So the way for us to really access this knowledge is to go within our subconscious, our subconscious already knows everything. Our subconscious is what has the knowledge. Like, we literally, anything that we've ever experienced, smelled, heard, even whatever we've heard and picked up from other people, our mind has recorded it all. Like this, the Akashic records, our subconscious mind has recorded it all. It's just our ability to tap into that, but we don't use enough mental power to be able to use that. But that's like another story. I just feel like some people have very small and limited mindsets with that when they, whatever people believe in, oh, you do that, that's an abomination, or the scripture says this and that. Like, okay, cool. That's what you follow and that's what you believe in, but I'm not going to allow a book to really dictate, how I'm doing things and if that's right or wrong. For me, just more so personally, because I don't feel like the book is as factual and as concrete for that to be something that I'm really living my life by, although there are a lot of gems and facts and things that we can follow to give us insight as to how we got here or certain things that happened in history. So it's a 50-50 for me. I feel like it's as far as the Bible, because I feel like that's what that conversation was getting to, basically Christians versus spiritualists, where the Bible to me is 50-50. Is 50% facts or historical facts or things that we can follow, and another 50% of things being changed and confusion, because we know that things have been changed over time. We know that there was an enemy that wanted confusion to be the focus in order to keep people confused and trapped and away from being able to tap into them and being able to tap into their higher selves and knowing who they are, their tradition and their lineage. Certain things have been changed over time. So it does become a little hard pill to swallow for me, because once again, like I said, I was raised Christian and things of that nature, but we already know facts of the Bible and Christianity and how it was forced onto slaves. They had their own spirituality before it was force fed to them. So with that knowledge of that, this was a book that was force fed to us. I just feel like it's a lot of trauma and other things like underlined that need to be uncovered from that. And just to also say that I feel like there's confusion on both sides in this day and time. Like, being spiritual has become very trendy to where as though I feel like I see a lot of delusion in that too. I do indulge in certain things, and candle magic, crystal healing, using nature's elements, fire, water, breath, smoke. I use all those things to manifest, to heal, to connect with the divine, because these are all tools, these are all natural things around me that come from the universe, from the God, from the Most High, that I can use to tap into my higher self and as well as to communicate with the divine. But me saying all that to say, if there is someone who doesn't have the correct discernment or hasn't done the work to have their own inner knowing to know when something is or isn't right, or just the idea that you don't have to use these tools to to become self-aware or to manifest. It's so many other things that we can do. So I do feel like in this day and time, the trendiness of spirituality doesn't serve the best either, because it makes it seem like you do certain things, like you just burn some sage or light a candle and then things become better. Like, no, like, remove all of that shit. Like, fuck all that shit. Fuck the crystals, the candles, all that shit. The real work comes in the shadow work. And I feel like spirituality nowadays has this aesthetic to it where things are supposed to look a certain way, or you have to do these certain things to be spiritual or to be in certain things. But realistically, everything doesn't resonate with everyone. And once again, I just feel like if you aren't already at a certain level of knowledge within self, this information will be confusing to you. It will mislead you. And then also with the nature of this, if you don't know how to protect yourself, if you're if your intention isn't there, if you if you don't know what you're doing, that can be dangerous as well, because you'll be open to certain things and not know what you're getting yourself into. Or I feel like just having the belief in something outside of yourself. for someone to feel like this candle or this sage can fix me versus myself, that's a very, detrimental mindset to have. But, let you tell it by what we see on Instagram and stuff nowadays as far as spirituality. That's what people need to hear. Oh, this candle and these crystals, when literally they're just tools, literally tools that can enhance or help you get to a certain result. Just like a calculator, can help you get to the answer to a mathematical problem faster. You would still be able to find that answer yourself, just the calculator can get to it faster, right? The same thing with writing. With writing something down, you could speak it out, but writing down makes it more permanent, in the sense it's something you can go back and read, or it's it's there on ink. It makes it physical. It's not just your voice, your vibration being sent out into the universe, which is also powerful. But writing is spells. That's why it's called spelling. So in that, prayers are also spells. That's something I saw in the thread that I also agree with. Prayers are also spells. When you are praying, you are basically putting out what they call like a petition. You're making a command, or you're asking for something, or you want a situation to become better, or you want something to be removed, or whatever it is that you're praying about. That is a spell, in the sense that you're being intentional about something. There's an order of steps in how something's go, or you're speaking something out and you're declaring it. Okay, that's a spell. The same way a spell is spoken or written, or there's an order in the way you do things. It's one and the same thing. So religion versus spirituality, like, what is it? Why is it a thing? I don't consider myself a religious person. I do consider myself a spiritual person, although religion gives a lot of knowledge. And me personally, as far as religion, I have resonated with more Native American, Buddhist, and Taoism type of beliefs, in a sense. They resonate with me more than Christianity in this book, whereas these religions have certain principles and things to me that align with nature more, versus a book that's just, it just has a lot of, what's the word called? What they say, precept upon precept. Like, what do they call it when something is like, not a loophole, I cannot think of the word right now, but just basically where it's one thing after the next. Like, okay, you say this, but now it's this on top of that, like it's like a runaround. Like you don't really ever get to any real concrete ending. This, you add this to that. That can just be confusing. But I don't want to seem biased. I feel like I'm definitely in a space where I would start like studying the Bible again. My spiritual journey did start with the Bible. Outside of, when I stopped going to church and stuff, I didn't necessarily identify as Christian anymore. But if anybody knows about the Israelites, they were big on the Bible. Although a lot of the things that they said, made sense and was factual, as a spiritual person, I didn't like the undertone of that religion, of that belief. And I felt like, as a spiritual being, certain words and thought patterns and beliefs would limit my soul from reaching its true potential if I believed these things. So once again, a lot of the information that I got from the Israelites and, studying the Bible and things, it made a lot of things made sense. It was definitely good information, but there were also things that did not resonate. So for me, it was just like, I started, seeking other things. I think from there is when I, started to really dabble in the crystals and things of that nature. But that's because when I was introduced to crystals, it wasn't this like fairy tale land thing. I had this elder that basically was describing to me that crystals are good for removing blockages in the bodies. Crystals are good for working with our subtle energies, the energies that we can't see. Crystals are these ancient messengers and carriers that come from the earth. They've been in the earth way longer than we have. Compare them to trees, how they say trees have so much information. Trees are rooted, and these crystals are made with so many different elements and things that come from the earth. They've gone through many different cycles and elements and seasons, so they're filled with a bunch of information. And then they have these different colors, and they're filled with different compositions and molecules and chemicals that are within our bodies. So you have these crystals that come from the earth. Everything that we see, we have within us. We're a reflection of everything. So these crystals have the same elements that I have. So it's either working with, stabilizing, enhancing, or trying to soothe or calm down whatever I already have. And so understanding that aspect and how to really work with them. But that to me, that's what it's all about. Not just holding a crystal or getting a crystal and feeling like, oh, this crystal is going to heal me or this crystal is going to help. Like, no, it's not really how it works. The same way we would ask someone to borrow their car or borrow their laptop or to use their cell phone, I feel like it's the same way that we should respect these tools that we want to use, especially when you're trying to reach a certain thing or manifest. Yes, you should want to program something or put your intent into it or ask it if it even wants to work with you. Herbs are dead plants where they don't necessarily have the life force anymore because they aren't growing, but they still hold the energetic imprint and medicinal constituents that are in it are still there. Okay, so knowing that all of these plants have their own soul and energetic imprint and how that can work with you. The same thing with crystals. All of these crystals have different compositions and were created under different things, so that's how they can work with us. But I just feel like when we aren't intentional about these things, and when we aren't programming things, when we aren't tapped into things, when we haven't studied, when we don't practice, it doesn't serve us, because practice makes perfect. So making something a part of your practice would make it better versus just I feel like dabbling in something or just really expecting something to work without doing the work. Spiritual people that get candles and crystals and just expect those things to work without doing the work, to me is the same thing as people in any faith, or I'll say more so Christianity, that feel like prayer is the only thing that works. I do remember hearing something that prayer, I can't remember the exact saying, but it's just basically saying, prayer is nothing without the work. It's the same thing. Like, how do we manifest? Okay, you can think about it as long as you want, but then you have to act upon it. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, the 1, 2, 3, the thought, the intent, the action, and then the actual belief factor of it, because you want to be able to see it, be able to visualize it and feel it, okay, and then you want to believe it. You want to believe whatever you're trying to manifest, okay, and then the actual action to go towards what it is. So to want to lose weight and to just sit around and wear a and to wear a sweatband without doing the actual work, or to want to heal from a heartbreak and to use a crystal, but you never you don't say any self-love affirmations, or you don't get the correct closure or anything like that. How do you expect to heal without doing the actual work? So that's how I feel like things are one and the same. When people feel like the work doesn't need to be done, we're just depending on these tools or these outer things to service us. And although I know that God is the most high vibration, I also know that God is within me. So in order for me to access God, I have to go within, and that's the best way to access it. Well, I can also access God through using these different tools and mediums that have been put here. This stuff has not been put here for us to just ignore. I really don't believe that, okay? Just the same way all plants have a specific all plants have their own specific duties and actions, okay? They're more specific to their healing. The same way we have these, crystals and other things that, that we can use to work with specifically. The same way they're, different candles and colors. That when you're using white, you're worried about, cleansing and opening up the space. If you're using black, you're trying to, repel negative energy or protect yourself with something. If you're using purple, you with the crown chakra, you're trying to connect with the divine and enhance your intuitive and psychic abilities. When we're using blue, we're talking about communication and maybe softening a situation. So it's still all of these things that are symbolic or in alignment or intentional wise what we use these things for, and how you can use them. to benefit you. But if you don't have the intent behind it, if you don't put the work behind it, it's not going to work. So it doesn't matter. I don't care what you believe in. If you aren't willing to do the work for you, if you aren't willing to do the research for yourself, if you aren't willing to practice for yourself, if you aren't willing to question and enhance your own wisdom through experiencing whatever it is that you're practicing, then you're doing yourself a disservice. So to believe something without questioning it yourself is doing yourself a disservice. I feel the same. I feel that way with Christianity as well as spirituality. For someone to sit there and just listen to a preacher preach all this time without you getting your own familiarity with the word, or you studying the word on your own, that's detrimental to me, because you're believing someone else and allowing them to, speak and pour into you without you having power over your own dominion and your beliefs. Okay, you're allowing someone else's words to dictate your own beliefs. Where in the same sense with like the crystals and the spirituality and stuff like that, you have certain people out here that will allow others to do the work for them, do candle magic or whatever, or just in the sense of wanting to dabble in certain things, and you aren't necessarily doing the work or researching or practicing on your own. You're just going off of what you may have seen someone else do. That doesn't serve you. That's a detriment to yourself, because now, once again, you're giving your power away to someone else. You aren't discerning your own. You aren't speaking power over your dominion and your beliefs. You're allowing someone else to have some type of control over your energy. That's one of the main reasons why I really stopped getting readings and things of that nature. I was real into like readings for a certain amount of time, but then I just started feeling like any answers I need I can find within myself, or I'll ask the divine, or I'll ask God, and those things will be revealed to me. I don't need to keep on getting readings to have clarity about myself. Any clarity I need I can find within, or I'll ask the divine for it, and it will be revealed to me. But that's my intention. I'm not here to really down talk others or to bash people, but just to say I really feel like there is a need for people to have their own discernment and their own understanding of things before they want to blame and point fingers at other people for what they're doing. Because I feel like if you were really confident in what you were doing, what other people do wouldn't bother you. And Christians don't bother me. Christianity doesn't bother me. It's just more so the sense I feel like the mindset and the limitations that I have seen in the spiritual, in the Christian community, especially where I know it's supposed to be this thing about, not being judgmental and things of that nature. And Christians have been some of the most judgmental people I've ever been around, so it's just like, yeah, I'm good on that. It's just a lot of delusion and stuff in this day and time. And if you don't have discernment, if you don't have knowledge of self, you'll get caught up in the shits easily. As we raise awareness and as we raise the consciousness as a collective, these are things that we're going to be, talking about. And as the matrix is falling and as people are awakening, we're just going to keep on being exposed to, certain truths. If you're a truth seeker, you will find the truth, okay? And if you're here to seek love, you will find that. If you're here to seek clarity, you will find that. If you're here to seek peace, you will find that. No matter if you're a Christian, no matter if you are, into spirituality, no matter if you're atheist, whatever you're seeking, whatever your intention is, whatever you focus on, you're going to have that. And I guess I'll end it on that note. Peace.